Yeah, this is a very strange 13-game slate. I didn't think we'd be this early in the season seeing like Nestor Cortez as the only guy with a 5-digit salary. But I think there are some names that are maybe still being undervalued. And one of those guys I think is Noah Syndergaard, who's going into a pretty good matchup against the Chicago White Sox. It's another thing I didn't think I'd be saying this season, that the White Sox are a fantastic matchup. You do have to watch the status of Luis Robert. Apparently, there is a chance he is going to return to the lineup tonight, but the White Sox have still been one of the worst teams in baseball across the last 2 weeks. They have just a 251 WOBA that is dead last. They have a 65 WRC plus. That is the third worst rate in baseball across that span of time. They're still going to be without Moncada. They're still going to be without Eloy Jimenez. This is just not a full-strength White Sox team where Syndergaard has looked pretty good so far with the Angels. The velocity for the fastball is not up where we saw it back in his prime days with the Mets, but the numbers across the board look pretty good. His ERA is backed up by his expected ERA. And while the strikeouts have yet to be there, he's got a 13% swinging strike rate. So I think the strikeouts are just around the corner. He has also yet to allow a barreled baseball so far this season. So I just think Syndergaard at 8K, he's someone who's probably going to be closer to the 9K range before we get to the end of May.
All right, Eric, who are you putting on the mound?
I'm with Gary, and on this been kind of a weird pitcher slate. All the expensive guys are either a surprise that they're that expensive, like a Nestor Cortez, or they're facing a particularly tough matchup. I think I wouldn't be comfortable with more than one of the more expensive guys, but pairing him with Kyle Bradish all the way down at the bottom, the minimum price of $4,000 in his major league debut seems interesting to me. Bradish, rookie righty for the Orioles, is facing a struggling Boston lineup. Hitting 229, 275, 344 as a team. It's good for a 78 WRC plus, fourth last in the league. I do, of course, think that they're going to be a perfectly competent offense by the end of the year, but especially if they don't have JD Martinez, who's dealing with a groin issue right now, it's maybe not that tough of a debut opponent, especially in a park that's not as bad as it used to be in Baltimore. Bradish should be stretched out after going 6 innings in his last AAA start, and he's looked really good at the minor league level this year. 120 ERA, striking out nearly 20% of opposing batters, walking about 5% through 3 starts this season. In 115 and a third innings over the last 2 years at the 2 highest levels of the minors. He's got a 3.36 ERA, striking out over 30% of opposing batters. So there's enough there that I think he could get you at least a respectable amount of whiffs and not completely blow up in ERA, which is really all you need for a minimum price guy.